Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it baby. Make it make sense. Come on, make it make.
Let's Make Sense of It podcast back for another week, and like we always say, Ash,
the truth that you don't want to hear but you need it.
and as you know, I go by the Bull Vance.
I'm Ash.
And we are back again. Like always, follow us on Instagram, Let's Make Sense of It _ Follow us on YouTube. Make sure y'all like and subscribe with us on YouTube. Just type in Let's Make Sense of It. You could type in Let's Make Sense of It podcast. Like, we pop up. Whatever you type that in, we pop up. And you can like and subscribe. Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. Actually, y'all can check out our, I did a link tree. So you could just click on there, find everything. You can find our gear. The gear is on there too now. So yeah, we easy to find. So.
Not the jackets, so y'all.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man, listen, man. We gonna,
Sorry.
the jackets is 1-on-1. They coming, though. So this week, we got two special guests in the building this week. Not only two special guests, but this gang right here. You know what I'm saying? I got to introduce them properly because, you know, sometimes we did a show probably 2 shows ago where we were talking about meeting new friends, meeting new people. Mm-hmm. And, you know, sometimes people, they're a little iffy when it comes to people, but these two females right here, they've been nothing but, like, they light up a room. You know what I'm saying? They light up a room. Mm-hmm. If you miserable and they come around, you just gotta lift your spirits, you know? And last year on the previous place we were at, they were our first guests. But as you can see, we're both going in 2 different directions, so it's only right. You can catch them on Wednesdays, sip with Sheree, and talk with Toya, the one, the only, Sheree, Toya, the Johnson sisters. Gotta give it up to, hold on. There we go. Gotta give it up to her. Gotta give it up to her. You know what I'm saying? We gotta make sure we introduce them right.
Oh man, I feel so honored. Vince and Ash, thank y'all so much. Look, I'm trying to get my wave together. Like, okay.
Listen, it's only right. So first of all, how are you guys doing?
Blessed and grateful.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You staying Rona free? No. It's just Rona spin the block.
As we possibly can be,
Yeah.
right?
Because listen, Rona spin the block every week now. Seem like it's like you dipping and dodging it, right? Dipping and dodging it. Well, we definitely appreciate y'all for being here. Y'all our very first guest on the show. Our very first guest.
Oh my gosh, thank y'all so much for the honor.
I was like, who can we get on who can we get on that would go right along with what we do? And y'all the first people that came to my mind. So
thank y'all
Definitely.
for that. Thank you so much.
Definitely an honor.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all got me blushing and all that. You know I'm a gangster. Come on,
I'm trying to tell y'all, it's real presidential in here too.
It's real presidential.
Hey man, listen. So first, let's start off right with it. Tragedy into Triumph LLC.
Yes.
So kind of break down what that is.
Okay, so Tragedy in the Triumph LLC, it is my new business. My business launches January 15th, 2022, which is actually next Saturday. I'll be doing a few things under Tragedy in the Triumph, but it's really for motivational speaking, professional business etiquette, credit repair when you're trying to buy your first home. So it's a few things. You get what I'm saying to you? It's a few things. I'm really, really excited. Tragedy in the Triumph, for those of you that don't know, my brother was actually murdered almost 3 years ago. So that's where the name comes from, because during that time, my family and I, we were in a very dark place. And we had to turn, that tragedy into a triumph. So here we are, chugging along, you know what I'm saying? Making it do what it do.
I know that's right.
I know that's right.
So, well, Tragedy Triumph is a lot going on there because some people hear the name and they probably like, man, what's Tragedy Triumph? So how long have you been working on this? First of all, let's start there.
So I have been working on this honestly and truthfully since October. But honestly speaking, I always knew that I had a way with my words. I'm very aware that I can breathe life into a person. Right. So once everything happened, I tried to figure out a way. What is something that I can do, to just allow people to realize everybody goes through tragedy is how you what are you going to do with it? Like once you're in that place,
Right.
how are you going to channel that energy? So for me, I'm speaking from experience. I had to dig deep down inside. I had to start a healing process and sit in it and think about it and take the steps I needed to get, past it. Of course, I'm still healing. We're always going to be healing, but that's really where it like stemmed from.
Right,
it's
right.
very personal with me.
So, the logo. How did you come up with that logo?
So I wanted to be Tragedy into Triumph. I wanted to be geared towards building women. So I chose 3 women, all different shapes and sizes, short hair, long hair. And I wanted it to be just that. Like when you seen the logo, like, wow, women, unity, everyone standing together with a little bit of spazzle behind it. Because I feel like in our community, especially African Americans, we need to build each other up. So especially starting with the women, you know what I'm saying? Like we're all taught different things, and you grow up a certain kind of way, and it's like, oh, I don't like her because she has this, or I don't like her but you don't know her, you don't know her story. So that's where my logo came up with, just trying to,
That's dope.
unify women.
That's dope.
Yes.
Toya, what's been going on?
What's been going
You been helping sister out over here? Of course. You been helping sister out over here?
Of course. So, what have I been up to? So I think probably the most significant thing in my life, I'm going to say probably the last quarter of last year, is I rekindled a relationship with God. The reason that becomes so important is because I've been on this journey of betterment, being the best version of myself for quite a few years now.
Right.
And I pride myself in trying to bring other people along with me, try to help them bring out the best in themselves.
Right.
But after we lost our brother, that just broke my heart. It was the heartbreak of my life. It broke my spirit.
Right.
And I just wasn't the same. I didn't smile the same. I didn't laugh the same. I didn't look at life the same. I never thought things was going to be the same. But through the grace of God and me having an amazing supportive family, my sister, invited me to church one day. And that was kind of the beginning of, I'm going to say being like reborn again. I never really knew what that meant, but it was a real significant experience in my life. And it brought my happiness back. And it was like, I put a lot of work into being a businesswoman, a good family member, a good friend, you know what I mean? And I was happy and I was at peace with my life, but I was just missing like that extra like it factor. You know how when you're just like living and not existing?
Yes.
And, since that's happened, like it seems like the heavens have reopened and things have been falling in my lap. So for me this year, it's about me chasing my dreams. I feel like I put a lot of time in, and it's time for me to start to reap back what I've put out there in the universe.
Right.
So I've always wanted to be someone that helps people in like a way of a life coach. So I think everything I've been through, in corporate America, my spiritual journey, my journey as a woman, I have a lot to offer people. So, God willing, putting things in motion so I can ultimately make my dream a reality, be a life coach, and help other people get to where I'm at.
Right. Hey,
I like it.
that's dope. That's
I like
dope.
it.
Yeah.
So, sit with Sheree and talk with Toya, right? So,
Yeah.
how did y'all go about starting that? Because I know before y'all did a radio show before, but
Yes, we
how did
did.
you go about? Because before you explain that, so our target audience, I mean, we target everybody, but our target audience is actually females.
Okay.
From the ages of 24 to 35, around that range. So when we were looking for guests, we strategically are going to pick
right.
guests. And actually, I'm gonna get back to that question before I get to the sit with Sheree and talk with Toya. You work with a lot of black businesses, and you help a lot of black female businesses specifically.
Yes.
How did you go along? Like how was that received from these businesses? Like.
Honestly, when I first figured it out, I said, okay, there's a lot of, black businesses, and I felt like, especially with the females, they were missing that marketing piece of it. I also believe that with a business, for me, I want to know a little bit more about the owner. Like, I'm newsy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody sell clothes. You know what I'm saying?
So, like, what's so good
Like,
about
what's
your
so
brand?
great
Who are you
about you?
supporting?
Who are you?
Right.
Like, where do you come from? So that's what made me want to bring these females, onto Toya and I show, and I'm interviewing them, and I'm trying to figure out. I didn't just ask them about their business. I asked them about them. How were you raised? What are some things that happened in your life that channeled this energy, and what brought it out of you? And I feel like people don't realize that everybody wants to know your story. Well, I do. I'm newsy, so I'm speaking
Right.
for all the news people out there.
Right.
So that's basically where it stemmed from. And I felt like it was just a good way to market. In my corporate life, I am a marketer. So I'm definitely, you know, I can sell snow to Alaska. So I felt like if I get these, you know, females on here and I'm able to breathe a little bit of life into them and bring them out a little bit more, it'll make them, you know, keep going and keep going.
That's dope.
And I feel like the more you know somebody's story, the more they become relatable to you.
That's
right. Because I feel like one of the big hangups we have as Black women is that we don't want to support each other because you don't want her to do better than you. But what if she's actually representing you? She been where you done been. You see what I'm saying? And she gives you hope to know that there's a better tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And and another thing with that, especially with Black women in business, is also how you present yourself as well.
Absolutely.
As a business owner, and it's just like you can't, you know, want me to support it, and your image is like ugly. Like not ugly, like, you know, as far as looks, but it's ugly because it's just like, why would I really buy your product? Like, what is making me buy it?
What differentiates you from everybody else?
What differentiates you from, if you selling a $20 t-shirt, she also selling a $20 t-shirt. Right. So what's making me buy your t-shirt?
That's right.
Yep. That's all I want to know. And it's like sometimes females don't get that. And it's just like, it's not nobody hating on you. It's just that I want to know, why am I actually supporting you?
That's right.
Yeah. So sit with Sheree and talk with Toya. Now, y'all get real deep. Like y'all open up pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Y'all open up. So how hard has that been, like opening up to people like that? Because you're really like y'all really get. Because I'll be there. I'll be listening. I'll be listening. Y'all be.
We appreciate
you. Know what I'm saying? I'll be there.
And you be participating.
I love it.
I'll be there because y'all tell some real life stories.
Yeah.
Some real life like.
I honestly think, back to what Toya said, you know, I got baptized in July of last year. And, you know, I always believed in God, you know what I mean? But something happened to me. And I just keep telling my sister that. Something happened. It started around April and then May and then July came and it was like, ooh. So I know for me, what really makes Toya and I want to get so vulnerable is the fact that we want people to be relatable to us, and we want people to know that you're not the only person going through it. And I think Toya and I, you know, we've always came across to certain people as having this perfect life. And I think sometimes people just judge you from what you look like and what you have going on, and they don't really know your story. So for Toya and I, it was like, okay, this is going to be very intimate. You know what I mean? That's why we didn't decide to go back to the radio show. Plus with everything going on with COVID and everything else, it just wasn't a move. And my sister and I, we have deep conversations a lot. Like we can talk for hours, like literally. And we notice with each other, once we're comfortable and we're in an intimate setting and we're with each other, it allows us to be even more vulnerable than what we already are. So is it hard for us sometimes? Absolutely. And do we have a little bit of like anxiety? But then it's like, once you start going and you start telling your story, I know for me, but by the time I'm finished, I feel like a weight is lifted off my shoulder. And I feel like, wow, I probably helped somebody else. So just know, baby, it's okay. Like, you ain't the only person going through this. Like, we're going through it too. No matter what we look like, what you think we got going on, it's just, it's not always what it seems.
Right, because you some of those stories, like I said, from this being attacked to doing the crazy, you know, the craziness, the pull-ups to the just... It was a lot. It's a lot of stories. It's a lot. No, seriously, it's a lot. Like I suggest y'all tune in because it's definitely. I think sometimes as people, we don't realize how powerful our voice are.
Or your words.
Or your words. Yeah, I definitely. For the longest, I didn't know how powerful or how important my voice was to some people. Sometimes you get behind the mic and you just, you know, you just telling a story, you telling it like it is, but you never know somebody how relatable that particular subject is to another person. So, and
you never sometimes really realize how much you can make or break somebody because you can see people, right, and they could be well put together, but like you said, Ray, you don't really know where they're at in their life and what they're going through. And I think like for me and Sheree, like she said, you know, we have a lot of private personal conversations, so it's like this new season of in our lives and sit with Sheree and talk with Toya is a representation of where we are right now. I think in this kind of modern day, like, you know, social media and just any type of media for that matter distorts reality for people. You know why? Because all you see is when they're smiling, right? All you see is them Birkin bags. All you see is that money, the trip. But you don't really see that person can have it all but be suicidal, right? But be miserable. could be totally unhappy in their personal life. You know what I mean? And for us, it's about like just getting real. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's I think too, as we started to get a lot older, you know, and more mature, we're thinking about our nieces, you know, our nephew, the younger generation. Like we really want a better tomorrow for them. So if we don't show them where we've been, you know, how are they going to know how to navigate this stuff?
Right.
Nobody really teaches you. Like, life is like an experience. You know what I mean? It's like trial and error. But if you don't get it right, sometimes you can't come back from some of them bad decisions. Right. So our hope is that being vulnerable and sharing our journeys in life will help be a blessing to somebody in some way.
Right.
Definitely. All right, so for the people who haven't listened to us before, we always do themes of the show. So this week's theme of the show is colorism. Actually, and before we get started, I'm gonna play this audio. Y'all might have heard it from this week from some guys, but whatever. Because whatever. So I'm gonna play this audio for y'all real quick.
I never used that one, bro. What about the black dating app called Black? It's funny. I never used that one, bro. But hey, man.
I mean, hey, bro, if you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, go for it, man.
LaQuisha.
Yeah, like me and Fresh aren't really down with the brown like that. Man. We ain't night riders.
Nah,
so
bro, I'm good.
You know, sometimes if they're, you know, red bone, but like in general, me and Fresh don't dabble in the dark, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Okay, so last one, guys.
So these idiots. First of all,
they're all male pockets.
Yeah,
I was just going to say that.
One of the guys is darker than me and you.
Yeah, like
first of all, about as dark as my shirt. And they.
First of all, before you even finish, podcasting is a gift and it's a curse.
Yes, it is.
Because it gives a lot of people a voice to do positive shit, but it also gives people a voice that don't need to have a voice.
There you go.
And I've always said.
You said it nicely.
Yes, you did. That was great. Go ahead, man. Listen, because I've always said you can't have a podcast talking about females and don't have a female on there. That don't even make sense. How you gonna tell a female about some female stuff and you're not a female?
Agreed.
So everything's one sided. But go ahead.
I just listen to that. It was just like it just brings back memories. Like you just like being a dark skinned little girl and you got to deal with people constantly telling you that basically you're not better than the next person. You're not good enough because your color, the color of your skin in your own community is not worthy of stepping to a pedestal of somebody that's lighter than you. And it's not even the fact they look better. It's just they lighter than you. You got to deal with that. And then to hear these guys say that and then somebody to comment and say, oh, you can have a preference. I can have a preference and say, oh, I like light-skinned guys, but that's not me diminishing a dark-skinned man or a white man or a Puerto Rican man. It's just saying I like a light-skinned man. That's just my preference. You can always have a preference, but I feel as though you do not need to diminish someone else's character for that.
Absolutely.
And colorism in our community, like it is I wouldn't say every community. I don't hear this in the white community. They all kind of blend.
Right.
But you hear it in like the Latino community. If Dominicans, they're darker than Puerto Rican. But you hear it in the black community more so as a light skin versus dark skin thing. And it's just like everybody can have a preference. But state your preference without telling somebody else that they don't look better than the next person.
Agreed.
Right.
I'm telling you. The first two thoughts that came to my head, I'm going to be honest with you, is I thought we was past that. I'm going to tell you why I say that, because I feel like now the conversation is more of, oh, do you want a bigger woman or a smaller woman? I thought we was over the light skin, brown skin thing.
The big butt?
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, so we back there again?
Right.
And my second thought is, oh, you missing out. Because beauty comes in all shades. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, every time I hear it, it just takes me back to when I was in elementary school, and I had a best friend who was very light and she was beautiful, and I remember like wishing that I can be light skinned, because when I would like turn on the TV, no shade against anybody, but you seen like the Halle Berrys, you know, Beyonce was praised, but it was like when it came to the darker women, you really you know, heard about it, and if you did hear about it, it was a dark skinned woman kind of degrading herself. Like, you know, I loved Lil' Kim, but it's like, that's how you made it, Lil' Kim. And even with that situation, she didn't want to bleach so she can be light. Because of what's going on, because she felt bad for herself. So when I hear it, it just takes me back to that time. And then it also takes me back to slave time. You know what I'm saying? When you had these white owners who would want to sleep with the lighter skin, you know what I mean? It just takes back to that.
The darker skin and made the lighter skin.
Right.
You know, and it's just, for me, I have to agree with my sister. I just think you want to think that it's like not, this isn't existent anymore, and it still does.
It still does.
And it's just disgusting.
All right.
You know what's so crazy, real quick?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny we're bringing this up. Literally, so we had some family events over the past couple weeks, birthdays, holiday, and all that, right? Mm-hmm. And I was looking at the pictures I had on my phone, and my storage is full, so I'm going through old pictures, and I actually found myself falling into that trap. You know why I say that? Do you know there was pictures that I took of myself in certain lightings where I felt like I looked too dark, and I lightened the picture, but I lightened it to the point where it's like, in real life you're not that light, and I didn't even really realize, like, wow, and you know what I started doing? Going back on my phone, putting my pictures back to the original, because I'm happy and proud of my brown skin, but you know what? I didn't always feel this way, and I can be honest about that. My best friend growing up was a beautiful light skinned girl, you know what I mean? And it was like during that time when I was in school and I graduated in 2000, I'm 39, it was a thing. Light skin, brown skin was a thing. Right. For a long time I felt inferior to a light skinned woman. But I think as I've grown up and matured and come into my own, I'm comfortable in my own skin 100%.
Right. So colorism when it comes to dating, have you heard what's how do I put this? What's the crazy thing you heard when it comes to dating? Like colorism wise, like I can't date her because have you heard basically you're too dark to date, pretty much along those lines?
That number one is always, you cute for a dark skinned girl.
You just took it out of my mouth. That's where I was going to go.
Why can't I can't be cute for a short girl? Right. I can't be cute for I don't know, but cute for a dark skinned girl doesn't sound like a compliment.
No, it doesn't.
It just sounds like I made the spectrum on your spectrum.
Right.
I just made it. Made it. Like I'm not, but nobody else after me.
Or if you were to date a dark skinned girl, you would date me because I'm one of the cuter ones.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody else is ugly, but you're one of the cute ones.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Like I don't normally date dark skinned women, but I really like you. Oh, do you?
Right.
I'm glad that I made the for you.
I always wonder, like,
yourself.
I do want to. Oh, okay.
like some dudes, I would never understand, what possessed you in your mind that you had to say that? Like where along the lines, you know what? Because that means somewhere along the line, I don't know whether it was a male figure or something, told them like, all right, you should date this, this type of female. Yeah. And I don't understand it. There's a lot of beautiful dark skinned women around.
I know that's right.
So I don't get
every
it.
woman is beautiful, whatever complexion
it is. Exactly. It doesn't even matter.
You just have to know for yourself that you are beautiful.
Yeah.
And nobody else sets that standard for you to be beautiful. Because some of these niggas out here be ugly. And they be telling you.
And then they got the audacity.
that you cute for this. So like, sir, you ain't
right.
You ain't,
better go ahead.
That nigga either, but
at all. Like you messing with me.
And I'm gonna take it a step further. Once you get grown, what you look like does not define whether or not you're attractive to me. Because I'm gonna tell you what, there's a lot of physically attractive people that are all the way ugly, and they become physically ugly to me because they have an ugly attitude. You know what I'm saying?
Have a conversation. You don't know how to control your mouth. Your attitude is
right.
Like,
so if you're still that shallow, then something's wrong with you.
Yeah, that's something inside of you that's fucked up pretty much.
Exactly. You got some growing up to do.
Exactly. Colorism when it comes to children.
That's weird.
That's sensitive.
That is weird. Like, I mean, in all honesty, I really do want a chocolate baby. That's just me. I want a chocolate baby because I'm chocolate. Right. And then from growing up and being chocolate and not appreciating it when I should have, me wanting a chocolate baby is just that. I want somebody else to see, appreciate it.
Right.
But if I get a light brown baby, light skin baby, it's okay. It's all right. But I would like a chocolate baby. Just because I want to give off that love that I have now to my child.
Right.
So they don't have to worry about going out into the world trying to find it. Like that was one thing I got at home as a kid. It was like, even though I was kind of, I didn't like my complexion because it was picked on, because it was talked about so much. It was like the hot topic when you were a kid. I was validated at home that nobody outside of that can really break me to tell me that I wasn't pretty or I wasn't this. Because at home it was, you the shit.
Yeah, right. That's it.
Right.
So I want to branch that out, but it's like a weird thing when people obsess over light skin, curly hair, blue eyed, green eyed, hazel eyed baby. It's just like,
it's ridiculous.
And you're right. We all have likes and dislikes and preferences. What you just said to me, there was nothing offensive about that. That was just like, I would like. That's like me saying, I would like a white car instead of a black car. But I'm happy with the car. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Like, But I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Colorism when it comes to affecting the emotions, emotional wise. I think it's a part of colorism that sometimes people don't. They kind of gloss over. Like you said with the comments, like the guys will say this. The guy might have looked at it as like, oh, I said this, but they don't know the lasting effect that they left on you.
Exactly. I have to agree. It's definitely emotional, but I do have to agree with Ashley. I feel like, in my personal opinion, it starts from home. My mom, my family, they've always made me feel like, I was beautiful, regardless on what, color of my skin was. But I just think people don't know emotionally what it does to people. Like, you just say something, and I know sometimes somebody might say something to me and it doesn't register. But then when it starts to register, it's like,
yeah, what was that?
The fuck
was that shade?
You're like, what? Yeah.
Like, nigga, did you just throw a little shade at me? So definitely, from an emotional standpoint, I think that if you are getting the support that you need, especially from home and from the people who love and care about you, you'll be okay. But I'm sure that there's, some households that it's not going down. I actually have a friend who, she has 3 children, 2 of them are light and 1 is dark. And she always has issues with with her darker child always feeling like she's not good enough because, she's in this house and it's other siblings and they're prettier than me or they're, he's cuter than me or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So, yeah, emotionally, I mean, that's the best way for me to describe it.
It could really have you feeling just insecure. As a woman, there's a lot of things that can make you insecure, right? We're all flawed. We might have all come to those periods in our life when we look in the mirror and like, I don't like this by myself. But it's different when another person says it to you. Especially somebody who doesn't even really know you, and they get so caught up by your skin color that they're not even interested in moving any further down the line and getting to know you. I think that for me is like, when I was younger, it would make me emotional, but now it's insulting.
Right.
It's like, to me, you're ignorant and you need to be educated. But you know what? I'm not going to take the time to do it.
I don't even feel like having this conversation.
There you go.
Because you're kind of stuck in your ways of what you think that it's okay.
Right.
That this is perfectly okay. Whoever you said this to before didn't like say anything to you or they let it slide. And me confronting you about it is going to make you feel defensive.
Right.
And it shouldn't. Let's have an open conversation on why you feel that way. Like, what makes you feel that way about this particular topic, and how can we change that?
Right.
But some people don't want to have conversations.
That's
people in general nowadays. Nobody wants to have a conversation about anything.
No,
you're either right or you're wrong. There's no in between. Like, I'm right, you're wrong.
And even
that's
when
the end of
you
it.
do have the conversation, it's like, it's so personal, whereas though, like, you can't even be mature adults and be like, okay, you have this opinion,
I agree to disagree.
It's cool. I see your point of view. You see my point of view. It is what it is. It's no problem. But nowadays,
you sit in your seat. It's okay.
Everybody
let's have a conversation about it.
Everybody takes so much so personal nowadays. So it's like everything's it's crazy. So take a break from that real quick. We have a segment. It's called the 2 cent segment. Actually, it's kind of like our messy / we want.
Get into it.
Yeah, there you go.
Do it. That's what I like.
There you go. I gave these 2 an assignment over here. I said, bring in a question. But before we have our 2 cents line for y'all first time listeners, it's 267-648-7208. And when you call that number, you'll hear Ash say,
leave your drum man
at the beat. There you go. And just, come on, calling people. We've been having it for a while now, but, people be scared. They be like, oh, I want to do this.
I told y'all, you ain't got it. You know what I'm
saying? I say being honest. We take whatever. Confessions. We take confessions. We take everything. What you got? Oh, all right. Y'all got it. I'm over there. My bad. I'm looking over there. My bad, man. We got guests ahead. You know what I'm saying? We just trying to get it together. All right. So, our 2 cents segment. So, I'll let y'all go first with the question that y'all brought with us today. What you got for us?
Okay, so I'll go first.
All right.
Okay. So, if you're out with your significant other, right? And your significant other is looking at the opposite sex, and you catch them. I didn't say glancing, I said looking, and you catch them staring. Do you embarrass them, or do you wait until you get to the car or home to address it?
Are they staring? Like, are they like? They
I mean, like you done caught them. Even if they do glance, you done caught them glancing at least 3 times, or you done caught them.
She counted. She said 3 times. She caught them.
You caught them. Okay, you caught them.
Looking.
They was looking. Okay, do you embarrass them, or do you wait till you get to the car, or do you wait till you go?
Let me answer that first because let me answer that first because I already know y'all. You know what I'm saying? So if I catch my significant other doing that, looking,
Yes.
first of all, I'm like, you want him to pay for the bill? Number one, like you want to keep looking at it? Go ask old buddy to pay for the bill, or you can go sit with him. How about that? You can do us a favor. You know what I'm saying? Embarrass them at the moment. See, I'm not gonna embarrass them at the moment because like we are like still at a restaurant. I wouldn't do it publicly in the restaurant setting, but outside of there, like we gotta have a conversation because I know I'm just gonna be built up. It might be worse actually.
Exactly.
It might be worse not doing it right then because I'm gonna be more mad. So now the conversation, now the conversation is just it's just in my head. Now we're not talking no more. We're just sitting at dinner and there's nothing to talk about. I'm just sitting there mad like, oh, you're not gonna say nothing? No, I don't have nothing to say right now. I'm just quiet.
Quiet.
Exactly. So that's what I'm gonna do.
So the right answer would be to discuss this in the car in the parking lot or at home.
That's the right answer.
But
what's your answer? We're not talking about the right
embarrass
answer.
you, but you're gonna hear my mouth right then and there. Like my boyfriend now, we went on a date. When we first started dating, we went to Landmark, and I'm talking to him. So I'm sitting here, he's sitting right here. I'm talking to him, and this girl walks past. So she's walking towards me. Now I'm, her butt was big. I would say that. That emphasized she had on like one of them sweaters, short sets. It was, it was a hot day. Okay, she looked good. I would give her that. Props to Shorty. But he was staring for 2 seconds too long. It was like, but she was walking towards me, so his eyes is seeing her that way, and I'm just like, I'm talking to him, but I can see his eyes still on her. So I'm talking to you. You paying attention to her ass, and I'm talking to you. Like, pay attention to me. And he was like, I wasn't even looking that long. Yes, you were.
See, that's what pisses me off.
By the way, she's a Leo too.
Leo sister in the house, girl.
So I was just like, so I didn't like get loud, but I addressed it right then and there because I was like, if I wait until we get in the car, until we get out of here, it's gonna be worse. Because now I'm gonna really have an attitude, and this dinner is over. Like, we can call the check. I don't even want my food. Box it up. Let's go.
Damn, you know she made sure I want the food.
I said box it up. Box it up. We're gonna take it out of here. But
what would y'all do?
That's very disrespectful. Mm-hmm. And if we're going out, right, that means that we want to spend some one-on-one time with each other. Mm-hmm. Right. So while we're out or heading out, if your attention is elsewhere, for me, my mood is off. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go anymore. Right. So I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm not really feeling up to it. Can we go home? And then when we go home, I'm going to check you. Because I'm not going to, I don't want to show my ass in the street. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to talk to you when we get home. But no, I'm not about to I feel like you don't deserve that one-on-one time from me because you couldn't even give me that attention for that time we was out. Here's my thing. We all move around solo if you work or have personal obligation responsibility. You couldn't have looked like when I wasn't around. Like, it was that serious for you to have to look at this particular woman while you was with me. Let's be real. I mean, people naturally look sometimes more than others when you're by yourself. Like, is that deep? You couldn't even held it together while we was together. Like, nah, that's.
My man gotta be sitting there like the London. What's that joint? Yeah, like, one of them dudes in London. They be standing
a glance is like, one thing. A glance is like, all right, cool. Agreed. But a stare. Too many.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I've been on both sides of the fence, guys. I have been in situations where I felt like, you stare so much, I had to be like, hey, yo, you don't see me sitting here? What's up with you? And then I've been in situations where like, I can't wait until I get home. But what I noticed is this is my personal opinion, I'm gonna let you know right then and there that I seen you. Mm-hmm. I might not act real crazy, but I'm gonna let you know like, I peep was just going on. So you're going to have time to marinate on it and you're going to be sick. See, now I can act like everything's regular because I know you're sick. And then once we get home and I ask you what's up and then you lie to me, then I'm going to curse you out.
I know that's right.
See, that's my issue with it. I feel like,
fellas.
yeah, like I feel like sometimes
saying don't get your ass in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
That's how I feel. I feel like sometimes women, they be like, oh no, I wasn't. You wasn't.
Just stop lying.
Just agree. Just
you know what I'm saying, fella? Just you know what?
I've learned.
My bad. That's that. What you right? That was rude. That's inappropriate.
My bad. Just owned up to it, fellas. I'm telling you. Just own up to it because if you're not, you're just gonna make it worse. Don't do it to yourself. Just own up to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know it's females gonna be watching. It's like, yeah, they talk. Yeah, exactly. The dude standing like, shit.
Get your eyes
now
together,
niggas in there with sunglasses on for no reason. Like, bro, what you got sunglasses in the restaurant for? Like, what is we doing here? What is we doing here?
And here's my thing: is it really worth it? That's what it really comes down to. Like, at the end of the day, like, you got a whole relationship or a whole, family unit or wifey, whatever. Like, really, is that deep?
Right.
And every girl nowadays has a fat ass.
Hello.
It just come
and
on.
if you wasn't born with one, you can go.
You
get
can go
one.
get
Like,
it. It's not that
They
deep.
got the clothes to make them, everything. They
Hello.
They got the little shorts you can put on.
Come on.
Oh
Butt
man.
up a little bit.
Little
It's-
underwear with the butt pads.
Yeah, it's a
man.
bunch of stuff out there for you.
So Toya, your question. What you got over there?
Okay. If you
Put the
have
butt pad.
expensive taste and you like the finer things in life, but your partner is frugal, some people will say cheap, right? Is that a deal breaker, or are you willing to compromise?
That's a good one. So how long? Like, is this like an ongoing like relationship? Like, are we like dating, or is it like how long have we been together here?
A few solidified.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have a time frame in mind, but let me just add this part to it. You have a good partner. Here's the thing. Even though they're frugal, right? You know, they have no problem paying bills. You know what I mean? They have no problem taking care of their responsibilities. It's just that, like, you know, for instance, you like red bottoms and he's like, why can't you go to DSW or bare feet? Okay, that's what we're talking
Dang, you said
about.
bare
You know what I
feet.
mean?
I hear that. That's still in the
Are
wild.
they still open?
No, Xfinity. not Xfinity.
They're
it's
called
Eternity.
something else.
Got the look.
Got the
Got-
look.
Oh, that's what they turned it. All right.
Okay.
She said bare feet.
Listen,
They got them CDs. She's about to bring out Circuit City on us. She went to Circuit City, got a CD, and she went to Blockbuster and got a movie.
you need a quick pair of shoes. You gonna slide there
But you said, but you said, all right. So they're taking care of everything. So
And they're a good
person.
man or a good woman.
Right.
The only thing is, you like, again, I'm saying expensive, finer. Let's not call them cheap per se.
Right, but-
That you like finer, expensive things, and they like more economical, and they're frugal.
See, I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing wrong with
Are
that.
you willing to compromise?
I mean, we could compromise for some stuff, like, but we not when it come to the finer things. When we come restaurant wise, you know, certain restaurants I'm not going to. Nothing against them, but I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. You know what I'm saying, I'm not going to these particular places. Like, if I want to go to a nice, you know, maybe one of these nice 5-star restaurants or one of these steakhouses, I want to go there. They might not want to pay for it. Listen, I'll take care of that. That's fine. But when it comes to like clothes and stuff, I mean, it is what it is. If you could make it look good, it's fine.
Right.
Don't matter.
So are you supporting that expensive shopping habit? If your woman,
Oh,
like,
if I'm
you know,
and now if they got this, now if they got the expensive shopping habit,
Sometimes.
yeah, because I got we got responsibilities, man. You know what I'm saying? We got responsibilities.
Yeah.
I ain't a kingpin out here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, kingpin out here, baby. You know what I'm saying? I do well in life, but I, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Just because I do well in life don't mean I'm just going
That's right.
all my money get thrown that way. No,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe here we can dibble and dabble, but go ahead.
No, I'm not supporting it.
No, you're not.
I can't say I'm not supporting it. I'm not buying it.
Okay.
That's not happening. Like, my boyfriend really likes sneakers. I can't
Yeah, that's me. I
fathom
like sneakers too. I can't.
paying $200 or over for a pair of sneakers. I can't. That's not. I paid $120 for a pair of Air Maxes, and it almost broke my heart. It was my pair of sneakers. I was in the shoe store like, why are they $120? Like,
Right.
I don't. Why do I have to pay for that? And I just.
that's
but
on the
with
cheaper end,
food,
too.
like food, I'll spend it like I
Like
ain't
it's
got no
nothing.
tomorrow. But I can't. I don't. I just don't. I mean, maybe it's just me. So I would be that on that other side of the spectrum where it'd be like I'm more economically like okay, this is what I want to buy, and that's all I'm gonna buy. Like
Right.
I'll spend $200 in Fashion Nova, but on a bunch of shit,
I know
Right.
that's
not
right.
on one thing. I can't do it on one thing, but he loves it. Like I bought him a pair of sneakers for his birthday, and I was like, okay. It's probably not gonna happen every year.
But here you go this year.
I got you. But it's just like, you know, I'll tell him about it though. I'll be like, I'm not buying it. Like you buy it, but I don't feel as though you need it. I'll give him the logical reason for it. Like,
Right.
why do you need a $1,500 Fendi jacket? Like, where you wearing it to? How many times you gonna wear it? Like, do we have the lifestyle to support this?
Right. It
Like,
depends.
where we like, is we got a 2-car driveway? Is we both, you know, riding around
Facts.
nice?
Right.
Is
Facts.
all our bills in this house paid for? Is the food stocked up? Like,
That's
it's
right.
everything together.
In order, yeah.
If that's
Right.
the case, I don't have nothing to say. Like, I'm mute.
Right.
It is what it is. But if that's not together, I don't want to hear it. You buy it, I'm gonna look at you like stupid.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
So, I feel like a compromise is in order. Meaning, if we're a unit, right, that means that we should kind of have a lot of the same aligned goals, even though we have some that are separate, right? Mm-hmm. And so my whole thing is whatever agreement that we came to in terms of getting to where we need to be at, I expect you to meet me there. Now, with the extra, if you want to buy the expensive stuff, that's on you. Right. Me, on the other side, I'm more in alignment with Ashley. I have no problem with Fashion Nova. I'm a Fashion Nova girl. For me, I can't fathom spending that kind of money on something that I might wear this year or not next year, because my weight fluctuates. I'm all over the place. You know what I mean? And there's so many things that I still want to attain, you know what I mean, that are more important to me than a tangible item. But I'm going to keep it real with you. Like, this year going to be my big 40. I'm going to treat myself to an expensive watch.
Period.
Okay? Right. So I feel like I've sacrificed, and I feel like if I want to treat myself from time to time, I can do that because my bills are paid and I handle my business. So I feel like to each his own. You know what I mean? Just don't ask me to pay for it. You know what I mean? If I want to give it to you, let me give it to you as a gift. But I don't even buy that stuff for myself. So, you know, if I buy it for you, it's like, that was a gift. You know, don't expect it on a regular basis. I might contribute to the fund. You know what I'm saying? But...
And see, when I first started dating my boyfriend, we've been together 4 years now. Well, almost 4 years. And that was his lifestyle. He loves, you know, expensive things. You know what I'm saying? That was his lifestyle. So at first it was like, I'm not buying it. Like, you're tripping. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, sir. I'm not buying it. And you know, I'm not boasting, but I've always made pretty good money. You know what I mean? I always could afford it, but I felt like, well, why would I? So the first time of my experience of him taking me into, you know, a high-end store, I liked the whole, like, honor behind it. I like going in there, you know what I mean? They treat you like royalty, and I felt like, okay, this is something I can get used to. You know what I'm saying? I like feeling like, you know, big dog. You know what I'm saying? Big dog. Hello, Miss Johnson. You know what I'm saying? So I was feeling it. However, I feel like over these, you know, years of us being together, we've definitely elevated. So it's not an issue for me to treat you to something or you treat me to something, but I'm where you at with it. You know what I'm saying? We definitely have that 2-part garage. You know what I'm saying? We you know what I'm saying? So we good. So it's like, okay, but even before that, yes, sometimes what I tell him, like, yo, you don't need to buy me that, or you don't need to go. And he's like, well, it's already done. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I had to compromise with him sometimes. You get what I'm saying to you? And even though he, you know, bought stuff from the high-end store, if I bought him just a regular pair of Jordans, you know what I'm saying? It's not like he'd be like, oh, I don't want it. He still was, you know, grateful and thankful for it. So it ended up still working, but I feel like now we totally meet each other at the scoreboard. It's a discussion. All right, babe, I think I want to get these Christian Louis Vuittons. Well, how much are they? All right, let's figure this out. Let's see how we, you know what I mean? So now it's like a thought out process. But I definitely think that, you know, you can compromise and meet your partner there.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Thanks for those questions. You know? You know what I'm saying? Y'all helped this out this week. You know what I'm saying? Y'all helped this out this week. That way we had to think of them this week. You know what I'm saying? Put it on y'all, but make sure y'all hit that line up for us. That's for sure. I know that's call in, man. Definitely call in. Now back to this colorism when it comes to men, actually, because I think sometimes that gets overlooked because it's so much, you know, it's so much on the females, and you always hear it the one-sided way. But do you think colorism is a thing when it comes to men?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Light-skinned men is emotional.
Agreed.
Dark-skinned men too hard. Agreed. Dark-skinned men ashy.
Light-skinned men can't fight.
Like,
Light-skinned men can't fight. They bougie.
They bougie. It's so many things.
They're talking about you, man.
Not you, man. You squad. You gang.
Listen, man.
You know we wouldn't do
listen,
like
listen.
that.
I know I got. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about the emotional part. Maybe a lot. Maybe a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm light skinned with a dark skin personality. You know what I'm saying? I got my this. I'm light brown. You know what I'm saying? I'm on the border. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you two. You know what? I used to hear that. Believe it or not, like, I never thought I was that light skinned. Like, you got light skin and you got like beige. Like, you like I'm like in that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm in there, but I do hear a lot of females say that sometimes to like dudes, like, oh, I can't date the light skinned dudes. They, like you say, they too emotional, or I can't date. When in all reality, not for nothing against fellas or nothing, but we all emotional. Honestly, we just don't know how to deal with our emotions. That's what it be. That's what it be. That's what it be. Because somebody, oh, you acting light skinned, you acting this. No, you acting like you're acting that phrase actually acting light skinned really makes dudes kind of want to hold their emotions in. Believe it or not, like, oh, I ain't trying to act like them. You always want to act all hard, but like, bro, it's okay to, you know what I'm saying? Let them emotions out, bro. But
I know that.
dudes don't always want to. They always want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna let the emotion out because it's not a safe space.
I have to agree.
That's a good one
I have to totally
It's not
agree
a safe
with
space.
Ash.
I don't want to talk to you about anything.
You're right.
Like they were saying earlier on their show how they create a space where it's okay for you to be vulnerable.
Right.
If
You
it's
have
a
to.
safe space, then anybody will talk about it. Like
That's
you
right.
can get their guard down. But if they don't feel comfortable, if they feel like, I mean, it's a little shifty, nobody gonna talk about anything.
And then you wonder if you are vulnerable, if someone's going to use your weaknesses against you.
Yeah.
That's right.
You got to trust that other person.
And see, that's a lot of things. Like I've come across people and they've used stuff against me, so it'd be like, make you put that wall up. Like you don't want to.
It does.
You gotta watch who you.
Yes.
That's right.
Yep, you gotta watch you.
They be like, oh, you look like you mean or da. And like, no, I'm just trying to figure out who you are. Like,
Right.
Exactly. I don't
That's
know who
it.
you are.
So I don't know who
That's
you
To
are.
observe you.
Exactly. You just can't be all
That's it.
uppity and happy. All right. Switch gears actually from colorism to sexism. So sexism when it comes to working. Now y'all worked in. Matter of fact, all of y'all have worked in. Well, y'all worked in corporate. Matter of fact, you're the bank. So I mean, same thing.
Corporate America.
Same thing. Same thing.
Corporate America. That's really corporate
So
America.
sexism when it comes to working. Have y'all ever experienced sexism when it comes to
all the
working?
time. They make you fragile.
I absolutely have. I'm not even going to say who I work for, but yes. I feel like that's drawn. I don't want to put it on. But yes, I have. I'm gonna just say that I work in healthcare, and sometimes women just aren't respected. For whatever reason or another. However, I make the money at my job, so that's why I'm respected. You know what I'm saying? I bring the money in. So I'm sure that if I didn't bring the money in, it would be a different, standpoint.
Right.
But, just from years ago to now, I have definitely had to put people in their place plenty of times. And, just explain to them, what I got going on. Like, I make your world go round. So if you think I don't, put somebody else in here and see what happens. That's basically where I'm at with it, because I know my worth, especially when it comes to working.
Sometimes your value outweighs anything else. Sometimes when you're so
Absolutely.
valuable, that's why it's important to make yourself valuable
That's
to any
right.
company, whatever you do. Make
Absolutely.
yourself valuable, because when you make yourself valuable, there's nothing they can really
won't.
say, or they won't do.
Yep.
It. They be like, they might not like you, they might not do this, but
right. Yep.
they know
But
you're
you get
valuable.
it done.
At the end of the day,
They
it's
know
all
you
about
done.
the.
They know you and
At
everything.
the end of the day, it's all about the money. Honestly, like
All
I said,
about
they
the
can hate you to death, but they see you got the money, you got that money
That's
coming in,
right.
so it doesn't matter.
Oh, just let her slide. She had a bad day, but she gets it done.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
'cause that's totally me sometimes.
Listen,
They be like,
all
right,
day, all
she
day.
tripping
So,
today. Just let her trip.
What I've gotten from time to time is that I'm too emotional. Not so it could go one or two ways. Emotional is in like, oh, she's too hard, right? She don't let nothing slide. She's a tough cookie. She don't play no games. Whereas though people are like scared of you in the workplace, and I hate that. I hate it when people look at you like you're a bully. Just because I know my stuff and I'm strong and I'm opinionated and I'm on point 9 out of 10 of the time, I'm a bully. I don't like that.
Right.
Coming from a woman, because if a man says it with authority, then he's the man. You know what I'm saying? He know what he's talking about. That's so and so. He don't play no games. Okay, I'm just a no nonsense businesswoman.
Right.
What's wrong with it?
Right. And then on the flip side, too emotional, as in like I take pride in everything that I do. Right. So it could come across emotional, but I'm just passionate. Right? So it's like, oh, here she goes. She going in. No, you ask me what's wrong, I'm about to tell you what's wrong.
Right.
Don't ask me the question if you don't
That's
want me to
right.
tell you the truth.
That's
right?
right, all the time.
So for me, what I've learned, the happy medium being in corporate America for so many years, is be matter of fact. Say what you need to say, how you need to say it. Don't make it long and drawn out. Don't make it seem like it's your feelings talking. Very matter of fact and business and straight to the point. And then after that, you say what you said. Take it or leave it. If they take heed of it and you know what I mean, and want to move forward, great, fantastic. If they don't, that's on you. But when the ship sinks, I'm gonna make sure I told you. We had this conversation, remember?
Right.
But maybe next time you'll take heed to what I said.
Understand.
Have you dealt with it?
Yeah. One, because I'm small,
Right.
so it makes it a little bit. And I'm very bossy. I do not like to be undermined or anything like that. I don't like to be talked at. If I'm talking to you, and my job is just like, I'm working with across the spectrum. I'm older than a lot of the people I work with, which is very surprising because you'll walk in there and you wouldn't think that.
Right.
You'll think I just blend right in with everybody. But I'm older than them. And sometimes I hear myself when I'm talking to him, and I just feels like, I'm only 28. Why am I sounding like I'm 35? And I done been in here 6 years.
That's that Leo girl. Leo boss.
I only been here for half a year, but I know my shit, and I can like, even when like, you know, I first started here, it was hard to get up in the morning, so that kind of penalized me. But if I come here and I do my job every day, you can depend on me to actually be in here.
Right.
I'm not calling out 6 times a week. I'm not doing that. I come here and do my job. It's no problem. But when I'm telling your other employees what to do and you can't tell them that, please don't look at me like I need to step back into my place, because you haven't stepped up into yours. Why am I doing it?
I feel like I'm looking in the mirror.
I'm just saying, because I hate it, and it's just like, why do I have to constantly have to repeat and say the same things that somebody told me when it should already be drilled in them? And so it's just like, I always have that moment where sometimes I just be quiet because I can't constantly keep voicing my opinion, and everybody just looking at me like, oh, Ashley always, she always talking, or she always crazy, or she always in her feelings about something. No, because y'all take all this as a joke. And then when shit hit the fan, everybody's looking like, oh, what should we do? And it shouldn't be like, when my coworker as a man does this, it's perfectly fine. Or when he in his feelings, or he having a bad day, oh, we should leave him alone. But when I'm having a bad day, it's you constantly want to be in my face, factoring like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I in my emotions? Like, why am I quiet? Like, leave me alone.
Exactly.
It's like, yo, left him alone, leave me alone.
And it's like, you don't want me to be the boss, but you want me to have the boss responsibility.
Yes.
Make your mind up. You can't have it both ways.
Like, you go give me that check for that boss position.
Right.
I know that's right.
I know that's right.
Hey.
Working in an all pretty much male dominated field. Not even just male dominated, predominantly white for the most part field. When females sometimes do come along, certain stuff guys say it, I can see why females feel a certain way, because they feel as though all guys, I'm not gonna say all guys, a lot of, or some, I'll say some guys, you know, a female come along, I do construction, so a female come along and she might be a little bossy, but it's nothing different from the person that came along, the dude that came along before. But for whatever reason, some guys, they get stuck in their ways from, you know, we work with a lot of old timers and everything, like they're stuck in their ways, like, just to put it politely. So when a female come along, they might say something, or they might be good. They look at them. It's weird. Like it's weird. Like if she's a good worker, she's a good worker. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Like if I'm a good worker, it don't matter that I'm black and I'm probably the only person. You know what I'm saying right here. If you're a good worker, you're a good worker. But I noticed that sometimes, not necessarily with my company, but other trades on the job, like they're a lot more harder on a female than they are on maybe a male that came along or something like that. And it's fucked up. It's definitely fucked up, but it is. That sexism, that shit is definitely real.
I feel like too, sometimes people bring their household mentality to work.
Ooh,
meaning you might be the man. Here's my thing. You might be the man in your house, but out here in the workforce, it's an equal playing field, right? Judge me based upon my performance.
I'm not your wife. I'm not your daughter.
Hello.
Right. That at the door, sir.
You say that boss stuff for home.
At the door.
But you know what's crazy? As bossy as some guys are, like the females are out here running it.
Yeah,
that's what it is. That's what it is.
Your personal issues to work. Your boss, your wife run you at home, so you gotta boss me at work.
That's what it is.
Tell Cheryl to sit down.
Right. He be yelling at you, but then you hear him like, "Yes, honey."
Go ahead.
They be
talk to you any type of way, like, sir.
Right.
They be a completely different person. So with tragedy to triumph.
Yes.
What's the ultimate goal that you're aiming at? Let's put it that way.
The goal for Tragedy into Triumph is to save and change lives one person at a time.
Right.
Again, the goal is everybody who I interact with to be able to change or save your life. And when I say save your life, meaning, you know, some people think it's too late to do this, or it's too late, or it's over. I don't ever want anybody to feel like it's over. I know some women don't have a voice. I want you to know you have a voice. That's where the motivational speaking comes in there. Baby girl, you have a voice. Right. So that's my ultimate goal. I want every woman to know that they have a voice, and it's never too late to change and save your life.
That's dope. Do you have, I know you be having a list of the black companies. Do you have a couple of those on you?
Some black companies?
Some of the black female companies. We want to give them some shine.
Okay, well, I have some just right off the top of my head. I'll give a special shout out to Kenya's Closet. Her logo is everyone's size is a plus. And it's a female boutique, you know, for all shapes and sizes, and she will, deliver to you. She's also a stylist, so if you have an event going on and you want to get dressed a certain kind of way for that event, she will actually dress you. She has actually styled me several times. So you can find her on Instagram at KEENIA Closet, KLOSET. On Instagram. I also want to give a shout out to Above Average. Above Average is my hairstylist. She's been in the game for a while. She actually just opened up her shop several months ago. So shout out to Above Average.
Yes, congratulations.
You can follow her on Instagram at ABOVE Average. And just let her know Sheree sent you. Let her know Sheree sent you. Yeah, those are the two I can think of all the time.
There we go. Oh,
And I have like a 3-in-1. I have to shout out to my longest standing friend. You know what I mean? And best childhood friend, her name is Taquitha. She's a business owner of 3. She's doing it.
Yes, she is.
And she done put her time in. She's learning through trial and error, and she's doing better and trying to help other people, create opportunities for other Black people and people in general. She cares about people.
Yes, she does.
She has an adult day center, Time to Remember LLC.
Oh, that's dope.
Montgomery County, Pottstown. She has Norristown Zone Meat Market, Norristown, PA. And she has Traveling Nurses LLC, which is a home care agency, skilled and non-skilled in Pottstown. I don't have all the numbers in social media because I don't really pay social media too heavy. But Traveling Nurses LLC, and you can actually reach all of the businesses by way of here, 484-755-5482.
That's dope. That's dope. All those businesses you mentioned and the ones you didn't mention, we got to get them on.
Yes.
Whether y'all come to us or we come to you.
That's right.
Good,
Either
That's
or.
right.
And I definitely got to give another special shout out to your girlfriend, Court. Because she's the reason that all of this was possible. The reason that I actually got your number, met you from. It's funny because my little brother and I think was her son.
Yes, her son.
They played basketball together.
Yes.
And my step pop introduced me to her.
Yes.
He was like, podcast, exactly.
Wow.
Listen, Court is absolutely amazing. She's doing big things. She's actually starting her nonprofit. There's something about Mary. Shout out to Court.
Oh, that's dope.
Doing big things. I'm excited. She actually asked me to, be a member of her board. So I'm excited. Let's do it. Let's do it. So,
Listen.
yes, special. Yes.
Clap it up.
But yes, it was Courtney actually. She actually linked Vance and I together. We actually used to work with your stepdad at Ivy Hill. Love him.
And you know my mom too,
And
right?
I know your mom. Me and your mom used to work together. Super dope.
Yeah,
Super dope.
man.
Small world.
Small world, man.
It's always amazing when you find you stumble into a networking circle of like-minded people, because I feel like that's where we really go wrong as far as elevating and going to the next level. Because here's the thing, everybody doesn't want to be on the front lines. There's some people that like to be supporters. You get what I'm saying to you?
Right.
So it's like, if we can support each other, network, help each other, why not? It's enough room for everybody. A good product will sell itself. And good people, will get the support that they deserve.
Right.
Well, give them your social medias where they can find y'all, all that good stuff.
Sure. So you guys can find me at Miss Johnson If You Nasty on Instagram. That's my entertainment page. So please come be entertained. And then you can also find me on Instagram at Tragedy Into Triumph LLC. That is my business page. Again, my business launch January 15th. You will be able to contact me via email, cell phone. So be on the lookout.
Dope.
And you can find me on Instagram, ladylove_Toya J. And I finally decided to go into Facebook world. LaToya Johnson, I know. I don't play social media too heavy, but I make an appearance every now and then.
Oh man.
I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get better with checking my messages and all that. But I love everybody. Listen, y'all got my full support. If you see me in person, the reason I ain't on social media because I'm present. I'm present in real life.
There you go. Exactly.
When you want my real life support rather than my social media support, this is the real deal. What you see is you know what I mean?
We definitely appreciate y'all for coming on.
No,
Thank
thanks
y'all
for
for
having us.
Listen.
I appreciate it.
Y'all are doing big things.
Yes.
When just to keep it real with y'all, what we walked into, we walked into an absolutely beautiful studio space. Let's start there. Very professional. Before we came here, we knew exactly what time we needed to be here, what we needed to come with. They have their own equipment.
This
you
is
know what
amazing.
I'm saying? Like, camera crew, all pitch. It's lovely. It's beautiful. So we support y'all 110%.
Yes.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Please.
I love the flow of the show,
Me
and
too.
thank y'all for having us.
I'm coming on one of y'all lives too.
Listen,
I'm coming on.
Let me tell you something.
I'm coming.
Listen,
We
both of
need
y'all. We need both of y'all.
We gonna lock down that date.
We
gonna
need
figure
to
it out.
lock
We
down
gonna
that
talk.
date.
We gonna talk.
Y'all gonna come
Absolutely.
on
Yep. We just been look COVID conscious, but we're gonna lock down that
That's all right.
date.
Listen, that's
You know
all
what I
right.
mean? That's all.
But like we always say, common sense ain't always too common.
Hey.
So we put a little bit more smarts into the world. Definitely appreciate y'all for coming. It's the Bull Vince. We holla at y'all.